It's time for us to talk aviation this morning. My name is Iharo at we want to look at that all-important sector that we believe touch the life of business, particularly global business within the country, that if we must grow the economy, then we must have a viable and functional aviation sector. Everyone is been raising fundamental questions about this sector. Just last week, I think on Monday last week, when President Muhammadu Buhari hosted the governors and key stakeholders from the Southeast geopolitical zone, he said, look, hey guys, I'm releasing 10 billion naira so that we get the Enugu airport particularly ready now, so that from that point, many guys going to the Southeast can from that plane connect other areas here, you know, Enugu down to Anambra is closed, Enugu to Aba is closed, so Enugu play a pivotal role, and some see Enugu anyway like an official city, not having too much of the hustle bustle of the Southeast geopolitical zone. So much within the aviation sector, and also within last week, Aviation Minister Hadi Sarika said about 2 billion, slightly over 2 billion naira was approved for the shooting range for training of aviation personnel, the aviation security personnel, that this time they will be taking airport security very seriously. Okay, we'll be discussing this and several other issues at the runway and several other issues that actually borders on aviation within the next 30 minutes. Quickly, let's have, as usual, that particular clip on the screen, Mr. Godwin Ike, to avail you the chance to have his details, his contact, so that you can interface with him during or after this time, so that you can also follow him on that angle. If we have that clip on the screen, that would be wonderful. But if we're not getting that, then we may just be running. Okay, that's the script on the screen here, Mr. Godwin N.E.K. The phone numbers, you've got there, the email address, the YouTube channel, you've got the website, and also the Twitter handle is Benedict. But the good thing is that for 30 minutes here, I'll be having him talking with him. A very wonderful morning, sir.
Hi, good morning.
A very wonderful morning, sir.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
The rain appears to be giving way, and very soon, by weather prediction, we'll be seeing the Hamatan haze come. We are expecting an abrupt stop in the raining season. So, most of you who are still enjoying this great evening fall, shocking, unexpected morning downpour, a day will come. You have a very intense rain, and that cuts it off, and quickly the Hamatan haze will just be all around your neighborhood, preparing you for Christmas. Okay, quickly, sir, what are we looking at this morning?
Oh, well, excuse me. The aviation sector has been buzzing with a whole lot of activities. I mean, you just mentioned about the AFSEX issue, but today, more importantly, we are going to be looking at the release of 10 billion naira.
Has it been released?
No, okay. The offer I'm not sure.
When government mention money,
yeah.
I have learned one thing to be very careful.
That's right.
When this money is mentioned, it puts government officials at a very delicate position here. When the federal government said, look, I'm putting in 10 billion, the finance ministry may not release that 10 billion in the next 1 year.
Well, it's
and everyone will be holding fund responsible, NCA responsible, aviation minister responsible, and the minister cannot even come out to counter the president, and he just swallows that. Everyone calls him a failure.
Oh, well.
Because pronouncement and fund release are always two different things.
I agree with you completely that there are two different games, but here is for you aviation correspondents and journalists to follow up. I mean, you should be interested in having, excuse me, in having the job done. So somebody raised this issue on my platform, my WhatsApp Aviation Club WhatsApp platform. My answer was simple. I trust Mr. President. If he said it, he will do it. And that was all my answer. And I'm keeping to that. If Mr. President said it, he's expected to do it. I mean, we are learning to run our nation
will the finance ministry run that fast? I'm sorry. Most time we get the president saying it here, and sometimes you see the FCT minister at the Senate saying 2019, this year we are going, he's not gotten 1 naira capital budget. 1 naira. The year is almost running to a close. Not 1 naira from the entire budget have been released to him for capital project. Not 1 naira.
Well, it will be sad if Enugu Airport gets shut down for so long, because effectively speaking, the economy of that state and the surrounding states has been shut down. You know, that is the big issue with shutting down airports. And so Mr. President understands it. It's my expectation that those around him who help to ensure that the paperwork are done, and then those in the finance ministry who source the money and make them available would understand that a whole lot of lives are dependent on this airport getting done and reopened, because the whole of that zone is completely shut down. That is the implication of the shutdown of any airport, not just Enugu airport. Anytime you shut down an airport, like when it happened in Abuja here, we were virtually shut down. And then, of course, the trip to Kaduna, I mean, nobody has given us what it cost this nation to escort air passengers in and out of Kaduna, and the rest of them. I mean, if we were a nation where people will demand graphic records of the expenditure or what anything costs us, then our ears would have been blocked with the kind of figures that will emerge. But fortunately or unfortunately, we don't have that culture at the moment, and the Nigerians are too busy, eking out life from everyday activity to worry about going to make such demands from those. So that's a big picture. Well, you just use the language again, release. So let's pronouncement. Right. Okay, the 10 billion naira pronouncement. Well, what we were told in the initial was that the runway at Enugu Airport was horribly, or still horribly bad, and could cause an accident. Okay, that's fine. Explains why we shouldn't ever build any airport with just a single runway. Should never do it again. And we'll begin to be proactive to ensure that other airports begin to get their second runways. Now, there's also this mention of is it Orie Market? I mean, Orie is one of the market names in Igbo. We have 4 of them, 4 Eke, Orie, and the rest of them. So one exists in Emene, and the understanding is that it's an approach route for airplanes heading towards Enugu Airport, and that's an indication that that market needs to give way. If you ask me, it's not anything difficult. I don't know why anyone would make it look as if it's a difficult thing to do. I mean, liaising with the state governor and working out modalities of relocating people and compensating those that will lose their permanent structures along the route is something that is statutory, and there's a way to do it. State surveyors and valuers are there to go enumerate and value all the assets that will be taken out of the way, and then pay the people the appropriate compensations and take hold of the place and clear them. And it's as straightforward and simple as that, and it needs the will to get them done. So that's one of the things they said. Then again, if we are getting 10 billion, I can tell you, Atta, that money can do quite a lot if diligently, mark my language, if diligently and judiciously applied. For the runway, for instance, when Enugu was upgraded to an international status, the runway was increased, the length of the runway was increased from about 2,400 meters, which is equivalent of about 2.4 kilometers, all right, excuse me, to 3,000, to be able to take, bigger jumbo jets, that most of the foreign airliners would come with, being the international status. And then, of course, the weight of the runway, as it were, was 45 meters. So if you if you look at 3,000 by 45 meters, it will give you the volume of square meters that you have. But to build I'm giving you this analysis, especially my viewers who are listening, to understand, how much this money can go. To build a good runway from the scratch, which is not the case in Enugu now, because those basic foundations, and the casting, of the concrete before you start, putting the asphalt, which must be not less than 14 inches of asphalt. It shouldn't be less than 14 inches. Rather, it can be more, depending on the kind of traffic that or the kind of airplanes that will be touching down on that place. Now, for an average runway, it's been calculated internationally that to do a good job of the runway, every square meter of that runway will cost about $30. Every square meter of that runway, if you're doing it from scratch, depending on whether you are going to do some excavation, and that is to say the kind of soil you have in that area. And that is, I'm coming.
Is that not too cheap?
No. I'll work it out for you and you see what I mean. I am trying to let you know that there's no one runway that costs the same as the other.
Correct.
There are different sizes of runways, there's different lengths, and then there are different types of soil. If you need to excavate, and if the kind of casting.
The one that we have on the groundwater, you need to stabilize the soil.
That's correct.
You're not going on full work.
I'm glad you're following. Yeah. So, having said that, on the average, it's been determined that $30 per square meter will build an average runway on an average soil. Now, having understood this, let's look at Enugu that has already a laid runway that is broken because, according to the engineers, the casting beneath that was supposed to, sustain the asphalt, due to breakup of those asphalt and not maintaining them quickly, that water had seeped in to now go in between the asphalt and the concrete. By the way, water is not going to do anything to concrete, but by the way. So my imagination is that in dealing with the Enugu runway, you're going to be scraping the asphalt. That's correct. Yes, up until you get to the level of the concrete casting, which water has no capability of doing anything to, by the way. Or well, some may say that it has settled for so long and probably weakened the concrete. Engineers are there to determine, there's even an equipment that you use and, push down on it, and it gives you the strength of the concrete. So, if we have to excavate the concrete also, well, I'm fine. But the point is, I'll do some mathematics very quickly. I got my calculator ready here to do some mathematics. So if we take 3,000 meters length and multiply it by 45 meters width, except if we're doing a little, wider runway, for instance. But if it's exactly the same size that Enugu has always had that we are trying to rebuild, now what we're going to be getting is 135,000 square meters. Okay. That's what we're going to be, having. So if you multiply these by $30, we're looking about $4,050,000 US dollars. No, $1 million.
Yeah, in naira from now.
Now, multiply by 360 on the average. They may get their foreign exchange cheaper. It depends on how magnanimous CBN is going to be with them. Now, but let's take what we are buying ordinarily on a daily basis, 360. So we are looking at 1,458,000,000 naira. That is basic minimum that runway, if you were to be scraped and done afresh, will cost us. Okay.
Based on your own calculation, because some of them will be telling you that there are many things to the runway than just meets the conventional calculation.
I am coming to that.
Enugu may have enough this. Enugu may have red sand. That red sand, you know that these guys, that red sand in Enugu is very hilly. The red sand, we need to do some work there. To tell you so much about Enugu. That is a reason. That is a more reason.
I've been calling on government that we need to set up a consortium of professionals to manage government contracts, not the contractors telling you, but a management team that's been set up, experienced and knowledgeable, to follow through and be sure that information that being fed to government is correct. Wherever you find the wrong one, you should be patriotic enough to write a counter report and say, no, this is not correct. Rather, this is the correct position. We can't go on in this reckless, financially reckless manner that we have been going on as a nation. We don't even have the money to waste anymore. There's so much infrastructure to put in place, so much to build for this nation, and so any naira that can be conserved should be conserved. So let me get on with the analysis I'm giving to you. Now, based on the international rate, that an average well-made runway with minimum of 14 inches asphalt after the casting will cost us $30 per square meter. And based on the number of square meters that this Enugu runway as it is now, except if it's going to be extended for bigger and heavier jumbo jets to land there. For instance, an A380 will need up to about 5,000 meters of runway to land. But the other ones like the 737, the 747, the 777, and the rest of them can manage 3,000. So different sizes of airplanes for different lengths and width of runway. So I am taking the runway that we have at the moment, 3,000 length, width of 45 meters, giving us 135,000 square meters of land. If you multiply that by approximately $30, we are going to be getting in naira 1,458 million naira. 1,458 million. Okay, that's runway alone. Now I agree. There are installations. Maybe they're going to change the instrument landing system. Maybe move it from category 2 to about category 3 or 3A, B, or C, as the case may be. I will always encourage that at all times when we're doing anything, let's do the best. It's because the world is not waiting. The world is moving on. Before you know it, they tell you that's a category 4 that has come. But for 3C, wonderful. You just mentioned Hamilton Hayes. With a category 3C and a compliant airplane coming into land, you have no issue with Hamilton Hayes or no Hamilton Hayes. The pilot can actually close his eyes, cross his legs, be sipping his coffee, and the plane does all the rest of the job and touch down safely. That is the awesomeness of category 3C of ILS. So I don't know which one Honorable Minister intends to install there. If we are saying that. So let's move on to our 10 billion because so we don't lose focus. Okay. Now, if the other instruments that will be installed there will cost us another billion, for instance, or two, as the case may be, we have a weapon between 7 to 8 billion naira to further invest. My recommendation is that we either do a new befitting international terminal. That money can still build one. And then have domestic, using the current terminal, and then the international that we want to really enhance right now, using the new one. Or we look at building multi-level car parks, as happens everywhere else in the world. Where FAN can actually earn a whole lot of money, both from resident taxis that are doing their business in the place, or people who are just coming and going. It's just a whole lot of money to be made by doing that investment. Whichever one in their wisdom, they choose to do. Well and fine with me. Either build another international terminal that will now be deliberately built to meet the world standard, because airports are now marketplaces and leisure places where families, children go out.
They're just like our plazas.
Well,
Plazas, shopping center, shopping mall.
That's correct.
Mall. You just go around, you just keep shopping until you're out.
So I'm only announcing to my viewers and Nigerians and the world indeed that
I should be planning that for Enugu. I'm not sure.
I am not sure of what is being planned because I have no access to it.
Also, we'll come back to this Enugu. Are you not worried? And our airports appear not to be citizen friendly. Let me quote it here. Other airports across the world are easily accessible. They are easily accessible. They look more like a place for everybody.
That's correct. That's correct.
Our airport look more like a place for the very exclusive rich. So when you travel and you're going to airport, you just find everybody loaded into the airport. But when you come to our own airport, it looks more like
very depressing, isn't it?
Elitist thing.
And
rich guys going there. When you get to each of the airport, you found this crowd of taxi men littered at the entrance. You start to
and I saw that really.
Sometimes you get to some airport in the world, you just find a place completely, you park your car, few policemen there checking you, you go in, everyone just keep going in, but here you just.
My dear,
even as you leave the Big Bridge and you are driving in, a new scenario is painted of you going to a GRA. Government reservation area.
Well, I share your feelings. I agree completely. There is nothing to add to your feeling other than how to take it out and get us feeling better. I describe it as environmental ambience. The environmental ambience of our airports, nothing to write home about, and not not really. I mean, there was a time. Was it 2018 or 2017? I'm trying to remember the exact year that the Airports International had this its forum in Lagos, organized by FAN, and the entire world was in Lagos. What's the name of this hotel? Is it Intercontinental? Yeah, yeah. As you are heading towards after 1004 in VI, and towards Ajah, but not too far from from Victoria Island, somewhere on the left there. I think it's the Intercontinental Hotel. Yeah, he held there. I was in attendance, and I had everything, all the papers presented. I have graphic information on every paper that was presented in that forum. I have them in my system, as a matter of fact. And everyone was being encouraged, and all the FAN officials, Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, all the FAN officials were in attendance. I met quite a lot of them there, and experts around the world told us in graphic terms that, listen, airports are no more places where people get depressed. Airports are places that excite people, where business of all kinds of restaurants and foods will be served, or
all kinds of clothes, perfume, creams.
So we can't pretend not to know.
But
we do know, because
our new terminal building. Once you check in and you are into the airport environment, you don't really find anything that looks more like an airport anymore. It's just like you are in just one big plaza. Everywhere you go, you just see shops.
Or you do motor park.
That's the truth. Take your coffee, you could eat, you could play, you could do everything. You could do all. It's just at the point when you are exiting, I just discovered that, hey guy, I want to board a plane. Or from the point you are, after you finish your check-in, everything is just a market.
That's correct.
But in our case here,
and what's more, do you know environment can civilize you? So the young Nigerians that visit these airport arenas, I mean, what are they learning? The environment should be able to train them mentally.
What about fun? The fun guys who go out, who travel always and come back to the country, and you just go around the airport, you discover that you just keep shopping all through till when you out, and you come back to Nigeria, you find one airport where you have so many security men littered everywhere, the whole airport looks militarized, and you're asking the question, we who are to manage the airport and we travel and come back, what are we bringing on board?
Well, I must tell you, I talk to them every other week. And I can tell you and beat my chest to say to you, I spoke to one of the very senior staff just about 4 days ago. And I made it clear to him that he needed to tell the MD that a few things need to begin to happen. For instance, I made an observation that even the new terminal that we have right now in Abuja here, that we all praise that for once our terminal is looking as fair as can be. Externally, is beginning to accumulate dust on the higher and cobwebs on the higher level. I was kind enough not to get a photograph that I would have shown to my viewers right now, but I just thought rather than begin by recording these things and showing to the world, I should talk to the appropriate authorities. I told that officer in question 4 days ago, I said, listen, tell the MD he needs to acquire some mobile equipment lift that can take people up there to the height of that building and begin to clean. The glasses are already dusty. You can see beautiful glasses on the day that that thing was launched by Mr. President, and all the alucobond stuff that they have in some parts of the building, and the tiles and all those. They are already changing color. With granted that some work still going on the opposite side, and heavy machines are generating dust. I grant all those, but there's no excuse not to have them cleaned up at least once a week. And it's a matter of...
Why not daily?
Because to deploy, I'm being magnanimous in my suggestion.
Because the guys at the villa clean every 2 or 3 hours.
Well,
every 2 or 3 hours. They clean.
No, I'm not talking about the inside. I'm talking about the external part of the villa.
You see them clean.
Fair enough.
Daily. They clean. You touch the glass, even during the hammer time, you may not even see dust.
That is the right attitude. The most appropriate attitude is what you've just described. But I thought I was just being a little...
Because the question someone asking about our airport cleaners, do they just come like cleaners at the secretariat to clean in the morning, and after they clean that 30 minutes cleaning, when the civil servants come, they pack their bag, and that ends...
Horrible.
They clean throughout the day.
Horrible attitude. I don't want to even go there.
Let me bring you back to our airport. Before we go now, I've been told by the producer that our time is almost up now. On the final note now, are you sure this 1 billion, this 10 billion promised, or 10 billion released, or 10 billion to be released, would be judiciously spent?
Well, it's a choice that those that are managing the money have to make. I have just given you fair analysis of what the runway is likely to cost us. There's going to be some good change, and that money can be invested in putting up either a multi-level car park or an international world standard terminal, so that we can have the current existing terminal as domestic, and then the new deliberately built one that will have the right ambience, built. But if investment is uppermost in the mind, okay, leave the terminal alone. Let's be managing this one for both domestic and build a car park that will also make the outside environment, give it a good ambience, and make it a respectable...
Are the car park not up to be on the ground? Multi-level car parks on the ground.
Starting from on the ground up onto...
You don't see cars in front. The cars just go under, you are up and you're running.
We see all these things, but would seem not to have the willpower to get them done. And that's why now that we have this money coming, and we're wondering what can this money do, I have just told you, the runway proper, even if you have to excavate everything, will not cost us above 1.5 billion to deal with.
3 billion.
And then the equipment...
We got 7 billion to play with.
That's correct.
Let's even say we got 3 billion for the runway. We got about 4 billion more to play with. That's how much, 7 billion. Then the boys and others to share that 3 billion. Just do a good job.
I am...
I'm not encouraging corruption but somehow some guys factor in their own interest into social.
I don't know about that. I've just told you what I know and what can be done with the money, and I hope somebody will set up an appropriate monitoring committee of professionals. I have said it times without number. Let's professionalize this nation, including the Merua that carries water on his shoulders to deliver to people. Give them a profession so that they can be respectable and respected by the people of Nigeria they serve. This is the only way we can turn around this nation.
Okay.
And turning around Nigeria is as easy as ABC. I beat my chest to say it. We just have to set our minds to it and get it done and get the job done.
Thank you very much, Mr. Godwin NK. Thank you for that. We wish you all the best. Let's have to watch how the 10 billion would be expended here. Let's hope that we could reduce personal interest and ensure that the work is done and the Enugu airport is back and running so that plane can touch down, particularly for those person traveling and having business to do around the southeast geopolitical zone. We'll come back next week and we'll be having more topics to discuss.
Right, thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, quickly, we'll take a break now. When we come back from the break, Charity Tanko is already standing by in the studio here. She will be taking on some of issues that are within the veterinary medicine sector. They will be looking at the outbreak of rabies in the FCT. They would be discussing on that. Currently, they have some projects going on here, and she will be asking what should be done on all of that. Charity is already very much ready here, and we'll be looking at how best to tackle this very, very unpleasant issue within the animal medicine after this break.